everything, you got to go in there and discern for yourself what's going on. But the idea is blame, and none of us are to blame because we've been duped. I mean, Annans, digital warriors out there today, they're in the know. Yesterday, they may have been in the know. 2 years ago, they may have been in the know. 3 years ago, they may have been in the know. But at some point, we've all been in the dark, and we've all been duped. The Bill Clinton voter, you know. I actually studied NAFTA at the time, and thought it was stuff, it was going to work great. But I was proven wrong in my logic and understanding, and I was able to learn. See, right now people are locked in, and they're locked in because they have fear. They have fear of understanding something that wasn't presently put into their brain, implanted in. If someone learns something on their own, if someone goes out and learns 2 plus 2 is 4, they don't have fear if someone teaches them 4 times 4 is 16. There's no fear there because they understand the learning process. Fear comes when it's a training tactic. It's a scientifically done and chemically done training tactic of the deep state that runs everything. They run the world in a way, in the sense that a president comes and goes. Like I said earlier in the video, you can have 5 presidents, but you have one person serve all 5. All 5. So how do we fix this? We don't fix it with term limits. That's no good. Term limit sucks because if you have 1 term, that's fine. If you have 2 terms, that's fine. If you have 3 terms, that's fine. All of it's fine. But in your last term, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, whatever it is, in your last term, you're going to be positioning yourself for an appointed position within government. That's what you're going to do because you've got to leave. And if you can't do that, you're going to try to move on to a different office. But the idea of positioning yourself is what puts American people at harm because our taxpayer dollars are at risk. And if you're actually going to actively think about yourself, we don't need you in office. And that's what's going on. They're all actively, every day, every moment, thinking about themselves and not the American people because they're thinking about re-election. And that's why the concept of term limits comes into play. And it works because it's half true and half false. So the reason why it's false is because term limits doesn't help. The reason why it's half true is because limiting people is true. You get paid by taxpayer. All of a sudden you go to the Senate, 2 terms, that's 12 years. You go to the House, 2 terms, that's 8 years. You become a governor, 4 years. You go again, that's 8. I mean, think about this time. And then forget about elections and think about appointed. People get elected to position once. Someone appoints them to a job. More salary than the elected position that they had. And then they'll live on for 40 years in that position. And they never leave. And that's because the system's wrong. And they haven't figured it out. But here's figuring it out. 25 years total term career. You have 25 years. Outside the president or vice president. If you serve your 25 and you are still getting votes and people like you, run for president. Or vice president, fine. Vice president for 8, president for 8. Think about that. That's 16 more years. 25 and 16, that's 41. That's it. That's all you get.